Hey, what's up? This is Paul Murphy. So if you're thinking about getting WebinarJam, the brand new WebinarJam, then what I'm actually going to do in this video is give you a complete demo and walkthrough of the entire platform so you can see exactly how it works. And I'm going to talk you through all the brand new features. They've actually rebuilt it from the ground up and it's super robust and it's still at a budget price option. So, and also at the end of this, I'm going to show you how you can get hold of my groundbreaking 24-hour ranking system that allows you to place all your products and services and keep them there on the front page of Google and YouTube, the two biggest search engines. So your products and services will be in front of brand new buyers every single day, staying there for years to come. This is an amazing system and this is transforming the lives of my students at the moment. I'm actually going to give you this completely free if you decide to get WebinarJam, but I'll talk you through that in a bit. But first of all, we're going to look at WebinarJam now. What you'll notice is when you come inside this dashboard, you'll have WebinarJam here and EverWebinar. Now, I'll obviously cover that in another video, but depending on whether you've purchased that will be whether you have the access here. So we'll go into WebinarJam, okay, and then you'll see I've actually just deleted all my webinars. I've actually had access to this for a few weeks, so I've been playing around with it and I've run a couple of webinars and I'm absolutely loving what I'm seeing. So what I'll do is we'll show you how to set up a webinar. So the first thing you do is you press this blue button up here. So you'll see on the left here, you've got express configuration. On the right, you've got full configuration. So this one takes like literally no time. All you need to do is give it a title and you're good to go. So maybe you're on the fly. Maybe you want to just kind of hop on a call with your audience, a bit like a Facebook Live type scenario. Then that's what you can use this one for. And on the right hand side, this is where we set up our emails, our landing pages, our thank you pages. We're setting up a full webinar system that we're going to be running in the future. So we'll start with this one. And you'll see that you actually now have three options. So you can obviously hop on a call right now, you can schedule one for later, or you can have it always on. So all that really means is that when you set this up, all we need to do here is give it a title. You'll see when we set this up. And once you've done that, you can leave it so that it's always on. So you can actually, you don't even need to give it a title in the future. This one is like literally an express configuration again that you can schedule for a bit later on. So we'll press this one. And we're just going to call this Call with Paul. Okay, and then I'm just going to copy that. And we could change the presenter here if we want to and the language here. And we'll press next. And that's it. We are done. We're pretty much ready now to just hop on a call. So what we can do is we can press finish here. And then you'll see it says go to dashboard. Now it's going to take a few seconds for this to set up. You'll notice when I press this, your links, it will say it's going to take 60 seconds. So I'll just pause this. So it took about 20 seconds and then you'll get this pop up and then you'll see that this is the link that you can give to your audience to register straight away. I'll just show you what that looks like. And then they'll get a box that looks something like this and then they can literally enter the room and wait for you to start. And then you'll see that they'll be sort of sitting in this room and it'll say the broadcast will start shortly. So I'm actually going to close that down. I'm actually going to show you all those features a bit later. And then what you would do here is when you're ready to get going, you would click this link here. This is sort of like your back office. This is where you can add offers and things on the fly during your presentation. And this is your live room. So this is where you set up your live room. Again, I'm going to show you that on the full configuration. But this is the link and then what you would do is you'd obviously just put that in your browser. You just test your audio and your mic and you're pretty much good to go. Okay, and these we don't worry about for on the fly. I'm going to obviously talk you through those a bit later. So that is for setting one up on the fly. And then what we're now going to do is we're going to set one up with a full configuration so I can talk you through all the different features. And they've also got this new panic button, which is incredible, which basically means that because they've rebuilt this from the ground up to be like super robust. One of the kind of slight problems that some people had with Webinar 3.0 is that sometimes it would crash. And, you know, I never actually had a problem with it. And I wasn't sure if it was just like people's different internet connections. But they took it on board and they've rebuilt it and they've not been able to crash it. But they've now put this this kind of panic button, which basically removes everyone from that room into another room if anything should go wrong. So if it did crash, what actually happens is in the past is that it was almost impossible to let people know. People had to go and find your Facebook group or something like that for you to kind of move them somewhere else. and it became a real problem. So they've put this panic button in, which is kind of really cool, which means that if something does crash or maybe your internet goes down during a live presentation and then it comes back up, you can press this panic button, moves everybody over to another room, and you can just carry on with your presentation. Pretty ninja. So what we're going to do with this, obviously for this one, we're going to do schedule for later because we're going to do a full configuration. So we're going to press this one. And you'll see that this looks kind of familiar. So what we will do is we'll go through everything. Now, you'll notice that you can put your webinar name in. So I'm going to put live. So you're giving it a webinar name, a description, and a webinar title. And they used to have this as well. They've kept this in. You can actually list it in their on-demand section. So if this is an upcoming sales webinar and you want free attendees, you want free people to come and attend, then you can obviously list it here for free and they will promote it for you. For the purpose of this, I'm going to put 0, no. Okay, and then you can obviously put your webinar presenters in here. You can add new presenters and you can add them in here, and you can have moderators as well. So you could have somebody who's not necessarily a presenter, but they're going to be adding in polls, chatting to your audience while you're going through your presentation. So you would just click that one and put them in there. And obviously you just need to put in their real email address, obviously, so that they can be notified. And that's it. And then you can actually add it. You can add an image there as well, so it looks nice and clean. We'll leave that like that for now. And then you've got streaming service. Now, you can use YouTube Live, or you would actually need to connect your YouTube account, or WebinarJam Live. Now, because they've rebuilt WebinarJam Live, which used to be called Jamcast, I think, they've rebuilt this to be super robust. We're definitely going to use this. So I'm going to select that. And we can do a single presentation or a series of presentations. So for this one, we're just going to do a single one, and we're going to do it on the 1st of March at 7 p.m. Okay, and then I'm going to put in my time zone there because it's 7 p.m. in my time. It will actually be they will actually be notified of the time in their time zone, which is pretty cool. So we just click confirm, and this is where we get to the registration page. Now, they've got a bunch of templates inside of here, which you can use. So, for instance, you might want to use this one. This one's quite cool. And what I'm going to show you about this as well is that they've now included this new sticky bar at the bottom. Now, you can actually put this on your own website. And you can also, again, like you could before, you can put a button on your website. But basically, if you want to use your own landing page, you can basically put this on your website and configure the color, and you can put a button on your website and configure the color so that people can sign up for this webinar via your own domain name and your own landing page. But if you don't want to do that, you just want to use theirs, you can use any one of their landing pages, and they have this thing here. So you can obviously change this like you would landing pages. You can come in and change that. You can change that. You can change the background image. Obviously, you can put whatever you want in there, and that's not editable, but you can actually edit the color of this, which is pretty cool. So you can kind of make that something that fits a bit more, makes a bit more sense. So that's pretty cool. And then they've got a bunch of templates here that you can use. So if you want to do one with a video, this is a bit like the one that they used to have. This is one I've used quite a lot. It's really good. So you can put a video in here, obviously fill this in. And yeah, the only main difference is they've now used this bar. This is really cool. So this is a sticky bar as well. So if there's anything on this page, on these pages that, you know, say this is a long form page, this will always be at the bottom. So they can't miss it, basically. So yeah, you can basically do that. But then you can also, if you want to use your own page, all you need to do is click that, put your website URL of your page that you're going to use. And then when you give people the registration link, they'll be forwarded to that page and not this one. So if we use, how about this one? So we've got live presentation with Paul Murphy. I'm just going to leave all that. You obviously can see how you can change all that. I don't like the color. I'm going to use a nice, I think red goes quite nice with black. So I'm going to use a kind of nice dark red like that, which looks kind of funky. And then we're going to go save and exit. And that's going to be our page. That's going to be our landing page now. But obviously you can use any one of these. You can use your own here. And we'll press confirm. And then you can actually add in, if you want to, last name and phone number. These two are mandatory because when it sends out an email, it will actually address them by their first name. And obviously you always need an email for people to register. Okay. Now you can actually auto subscribe them to any future webinars that you have. So you can just let people know that you're running a webinar and they don't need to sort of subscribe every single time, which is pretty cool. So we'll disable that for this one, but obviously you can have that if you want to. And you can now charge to a registration fee. Now, what I really love about this, they've made this really simple. All you need to do with this is put in the fee here. You put in the payment page that you're using. So if you're using one in ClickFunnels or PayPal or Kartra, then you just direct them to the payment. And then on that payment on your Kartra page, you would direct them back to this page here. So they would only ever get registered to this page by paying. But you can have any payment gateway that you want. That's what I think is really cool about that, right? Because that means that you don't have to do it through them. You can charge them how you want. You can do it through PayPal, whatever you want, really. And the only way they're going to get this verified page is by paying. So I really like that. For this one, we'll do free to register. Okay, and you can actually make it so that it's password protected to actually get inside the event. I never usually do that, but again, that's something that's pretty cool if you want to have that. Now, email reminders. Now, best practices for this is they've got it set up automatically for immediately and 15 minutes before. What I generally do is I will do one at least 24 hours before. Okay, obviously, if they're signing up for one that's today, this will not go out. But this is if they are signing up for one at least more than 24 hours before. And another one I tend to try and do, I would always do is one before. And sometimes I do 2 hours before as well. Now, what that means is that, people don't mind getting reminded of events, especially if they've signed up for it. So you're not actually hassling people. People sometimes think, oh, I don't want to send them too many emails. But people like to be reminded, okay? And this is going to improve your show up rates. And like I say, sometimes I'll even do 2 hours before as well. Just because, people might be out and about. And if they've only got an hour and they've forgotten about it, like we reminded them yesterday, but we've actually, we're only starting in an hour. Sometimes that's not enough. So sometimes I'll do 2 hours before, 1 hour before, 15 minutes before. This one just says we're about to start so they can log in and get ready. And obviously we send one out immediately. And also, because this is like an autoresponder, you can configure this. You can have whatever you want in here. Now, obviously, you can leave this info in here, which is actually going to link them to the event and actually going to have the date and time auto-populated and their title. But other than that, you could probably put in, like here, or maybe even after here, you could put in, whatever you want. You can literally write anything you want. You can change the title, and then you can copy this into all of your emails. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Now, the other thing you can do is after the event, you can enable a replay. So you might do that one 24 hours after, and you might do one maybe 72 hours after to let them know that the replay is about to go down, something like that. And again, you can obviously pre-configure this. They've already put the webinar replay video here, which is actually going to give them the replay link. And when we actually configure this, if we configure this with a replay, we don't even need to do anything with this. This is already sorted for us, which is pretty cool. So you can do that, and you don't actually have to notify them of a replay here. You can delete all this and put what you want in here, right? And sometimes people put the replays on their own pages. So obviously you could do that and just get rid of this. So again, you can do that. You can add kind of as many as you want here. You could do this sort of, I don't know, 24, 48, 72 hours, that sort of thing, right? We just press confirm, and now we get into integrations. Now, the actual integrations you would need to set up in your, I'll show you here. This is in my profile up the top here. So I'm just gonna press confirm. We'll come back into that, but you can do your integrations here. So this is where you're gonna set up your Kartra or Active Campaign. And if one of your services is not on this list, you can use Zapier. And Zapier basically allows two pieces of software to talk to each other. And they both need to have a Zapier integration. But most of the big SaaS software companies now have Zapier integration. So if you can't find what you want on this list, you can use that. If not, you can configure it just by putting in whatever you need to down here. And then what you would do with your email autoresponders, you would choose the one you want for this presentation. I actually have ActiveCampaign and Kartra because I've moved a lot over to Kartra now. But when I first came to Kartra, I had ActiveCampaign, and I've got like email sequences all set up in ActiveCampaign running for automations that I've had running for quite a long time. So I've obviously not cancelled this, so I've actually configured both. So I could use Kartra or ActiveCampaign in here, right? So, you can obviously choose which one you want to use for this event. For this one, I'm going to use Kartra. And what you can actually do here is that when somebody registers for the event, okay, you can actually apply a tag, or you could add them to a list. So for this instance, I've got some tags set up, so I'm going to show you these ones. And no, that's the wrong one. There we go. And then you would just create that integration rule. So what that now means is that my autoresponder knows that they've registered, okay, and there's a tag set up. Now I can set up automations in my own autoresponder to send them out a welcome email, send them out a sequence based on the fact that they've now registered for this event. But not only that, if they register and they don't show up, so let's say, for instance, they miss the webinar, okay, we can add a tag as well that says missed live here. So what that now means is that we can ask them to come back and re-register for this event, because it may well be that, if they register for the event and then we start sending follow-up sales emails when they haven't even shown up, that kind of won't make sense. So obviously we can tag them based on whatever they've done within this event. So maybe they've shown up live, but they've actually left before the actual offer. We can add a tag in here, okay, and we can put in the time. So say, for instance, maybe we're going to have our offer at about 1.5 hours, okay? We then create this integration rule, which means that they never saw the offer. So they attended live, but they got distracted or they left and they never saw the offer. So we can send them back to register for the event again. Or we could just send them a section of the video where we just show them the offer. And this works really, really well. So I recommend obviously setting up some tags for this. And again, obviously, if they purchase your product, we can remove the tag so that we stop sending them follow-up sequences, something like that. So we could remove a tag that says registered, okay? And then that way they will stop getting any email follow-up sequences. Once they've bought the product, we can stop hassling them. So there's quite a lot of different things that we can do. And that is why I love WebinarJam, because this allows us to do deep integrations. We can communicate personally with our audience based on what they've done without us having to kind of look at all the sales every day and work out what they're doing. So pretty cool, huh? So that's what we're going to do for that one. And then we can also put in our tracking systems. Now, this is just if you basically want to track people based on your pixels. So for instance, maybe you're doing some Facebook marketing to your event, and when people have shown up live, you want to basically send them to a sales page, right? So what you can do is you can put in different tracking pixels based on everything that they've done and send them the right marketing that they want. And also you can put your Google tag in here. You can put in your own tracking CRM software, anything like that. You can basically embed these in all the pages within WebinarJam so that you can actually send them the correct marketing that makes sense to them. Okay, again, I'm not going to do that for this example, but you would just put your tracking codes in all these different pages here, right? So that's that. And then we can survey our registrants if we want to. So we could create a survey for everyone who actually registers and ask them some questions about their business. And this obviously is quite handy if we want to use this for our marketing. A lot of the biggest companies, successful companies, will always survey their customers so that they can improve their services, right? So that you have the option to do that here with inside of WebinarJam. So you can ask a poll, a multiple answer, short answer. Pretty cool, huh? So we're obviously not going to do this for this example, but I just wanted to show you that. And then you can choose your thank you page. Now, something I recommend on here is having a thank you page with a video, because once somebody signed up for your event, it's really good to let them know what to expect, when you want them to turn up a few minutes early, what the best device to watch it on is, you know, like grab a pen and paper if you want to take notes, things like that, and you can give them more information. Now, this is what I recommend, but again, it is different for each event, but you could do that if you wanted to. So we're just going to put save and exit, but this is your thank you page. Now, obviously, you don't have to have a video at all. You could just have something like this, okay, which will just, you know, you can put your background image in here, do what you want. So, yeah, so basically you can choose your thank you page. This is going to be, once they're registered, this is going to be where they land before the event. If they come and land on this page when the event started, they'll be forwarded straight to the event. Okay, so this is obviously where you can customize that. And this is where we can actually now choose our own skin for our live event. So now what they've actually allowed is different like skin types, skin colors to match your branding. So how cool is that? So you have, like, at the moment you have 6 options here. So you might want a nice dark one here, or you like, this is kind of like a dark one with the light chat box. This is a dark one with a dark chat box. This is the one I think that's closest to the one that they used to have. This one's kind of cool. This one's the same as that one, but with like red. And then this one is kind of like that one, but with a sort of grey skin colour. So you can obviously choose whichever one you want. I don't think it really matters, but if you want it to match your branding, like this one was probably the closest to my branding because I have a lot of red. So I might choose that one. So we'll click confirm. Okay, you can actually configure polls, quizzes, product offers, and all that sort of good stuff to include inside your event. Now, you can also do this in 2 other places. So if you're actually inside your event and you want your moderator or somebody to configure a product offer or something during the live event, you can do it inside the actual live event when you're running it. Okay, but you can actually pre-configure all of this before you even go live. So all you need to do is press a button and these things will pop up. Okay, so what we will do is we'll have a product offer. So I'll just show you this. So I just jumped ahead so that you can see this. So this is, you can see here, we've got the offer is called the ATS Academy Enrolling Course. We've uploaded a little image here, and then we've got the text above the button, and then we can put the text inside of the button, which is basically start now, something like that. And you'll see that that will basically appear. And then what we'll do is we can put a link to our product inside of here. Now I'm actually just going to put in, just for these purposes, we're going to put that in. And you can actually broadcast sales in real time. So it will actually say so-and-so's just purchased. A message will be visible to anybody in the room. The idea is to encourage interaction and social proof as the sales start to roll in. So you can actually have your sales broadcast in real time. You can apply scarcity. So you can say, we've only got 10 of these available. You can apply urgency, which means it's only available for the next 30 minutes or something like that. And then you're pretty much good to go. So we might have to put something in there. We might have to put something in there to move forward. There we go. And we can press save. So that's how you would put your products in there. Now you can also interject any videos that you want. So maybe part of your presentation is something that you do in all your presentations and you just want to interject it into the training. Now, the great thing about this is that, you know, if you've got like auto webinars that you're running, but you want to run them like live to your audience, but you want to actually say hello and like introduce everybody and speak to everyone, then you want to have your kind of presentation, your auto webinar running and then hop on again at the end. You can do this, right? So this is obviously good for those sort of scenarios. You might have some testimonials that you want to play during if you're doing a sales call. You might have any reason like you want to actually add a video. All you need to do is obviously put your URL in here, name the video here, and you can do that for YouTube, MP4, so like Amazon S3, Vimeo, those sort of things. So you can actually put those in there and they will play seamlessly during your presentation. Pretty cool. Also, you can add up files, PDFs, things like that, anything you want to give out to your audience. You can either do this during the presentation or like it may be an incentive at the end. If you stay to the end, I'll give you my free PDF that does this, that and the other, and then you hand it to them and then they obviously get that for staying to the end. So that's pretty cool. And you can as well upload your slideshow. So you can have your slideshow running inside WebinarJam. So if you've got Keynote, PowerPoint or PDF, you can just drop it in here, upload the file, give it a name, and you can actually run it inside of WebinarJam if you want to. I'm actually not going to for this one. and then we go on to next. And here we can actually enable a webinar replay, okay? And then when we do that, you'll see that it opens up all these other options. We can do a replica replay, our own custom video, which we'll drop in there, or we can redirect them to the URL. So when we're sending out the follow-up sequence after the event, that actual link will then redirect them to wherever you want. So for this one, we'll do a replica replay. And what that does is that allows it to be like a live event, a bit like an auto sort of webinar scenario. And they'll go back to the webinar room, a bit like the one they attended. The only difference is they will be able to pause it. Okay, and it's pretty cool when you can have the chat roll appear and everything. So this is the one I generally use, but you could do that if you want to. Okay, and we can have an expiration date. So if we're sending them out 2 or 3 emails saying, you know, webinar's going to expire in 48 hours, then obviously we can actually make sure that it does. So we can do this for, say, we send it out up to 72 hours. So maybe we'll do it 80 hours. We'll just give them a little bit of time over that. So that's set. And then you can allow on the actual replay, if you're using the WebinarJam replay, you can actually allow people to ask questions. And what that means is that you would just give an email address and then these questions will be sent to you. So when people are watching the replay, sometimes they might want to still get involved as though it's like live, and they might be asking questions. They might send you things that, you know, it's obviously good to get information from your audience if you can, as and when you can. So I generally will have this ticked, okay? But for this example, we'll say no, okay? And that's it. We're now ready to go. So the next thing I want to do is actually take you inside the dashboard so I can show you how you can set up your webinar. And then I'll tell you how we can actually get the 24-hour ranking system here. So first thing we do is we go to your links. So you'll notice that you'll get this registration page. Now this is obviously what you would send to your audience. Now you'll see we did actually configure one. So I'm actually just going to show you what that looks like. And this is our registration page. So obviously this is basic because I didn't really do anything with it. But this is where they would register. And then this will pop up like this. And then this is what the registration box looks like. So this is the day, as we suggested, this is the time zone. They put their name and address. They're going to press register now. And then they're now on the thank you page that we configured. And this thank you page has the webinar link. And when they press this, you'll see that this will have like a countdown timer saying when it's starting. So pretty cool. And what we would want to do is say we're now at the time of the event and we want to go live. What we now need to do is go into this one here, okay? And also, by the way, if you want to have your own landing page, this is where you would pick up the button. And all you would need to do is for the registration bar, this one at the bottom that I showed you, you pick up that and you drop that into your landing page. For the registration button, you pick up that and drop that into your landing page. And I'll put a link up on the top left as well on how you can configure this button as well so that you can make it exactly how you want. So that's all you need to do for that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go over to presenters here. And actually, before we do that, I'm just going to show you these so that you can actually see. This will be where your chat log is recorded. This is where you'll be able to access your replay after the event. So when you log back in, you'll be able to see the replay recording and download it. And also, if you've got any surveys, you'll be able to see your results here. So you'll be able to see everything at a glance from here. But what we want to do now is we want to go into this room here and you'll see that there's 2 links. Now this is for your live room. So this is what we want to set up just before the event. And this is a control panel that you would give to your moderators. So while your moderators are inside of here, they don't need to see the live event. They can just basically see all the chat. They can add in the polls. They can see things. They can ask people if they're enjoying the event, all that sort of stuff. And they don't need to kind of be inside the room doing this. They can actually have a complete control panel. So I'm going to show you both. So the first of all, you'll see this is the live room. So what we'll do is we'll set that up first. Okay. And when you come inside here, you're going to need to set up your audio and your headphones. Now we might get a little bit of feedback here because I haven't got my headphones in. But there we go. So we're going to enter the room. And this is what it's going to look like before we go live. So you see we've got this cool red skin color here. And this is the button that we're going to press when we're ready to go live. but we can set ourselves up so we can decide what we want. Now, if we haven't added, say we're inside of here and we've decided that we want to add in another offer, okay, we can actually do that here. Maybe we want to add a new video. We've got another idea. We want to add something in. We can do that here. We can add a new poll in here, but you'll see that the offers that we pre-configured are ready to go. So when you are actually within that part of the training where you're ready to give them the offer, you can literally just press that and that will go live to everybody inside the room. And also your files will be in here, your videos will be in here, your slides will be in here if you want to upload them. And if you've forgotten to upload anything or do anything, you can obviously do that here as well. So if we come into settings, you'll see that you can enable or disable live chat. I generally always have that enabled. And you can decide whether the messages are public or private. And I'm not quite sure what this means. Allow both public and private messages. I haven't actually worked that one out yet. But you can decide whether everybody gets to see all the messages or only you and the moderator get to see the messages coming in. Now, depending on the type of event you're running, sometimes it's best so that people are not seeing what everyone else is writing, because sometimes they can be chatting to each other and getting distracted from your event, right? And also sometimes people write crazy stuff. So you can decide. A lot of people generally have that set to private, actually. It's quite common. But you can actually have it so that everybody can see, especially if you're hopping on with your amazing audience and you want them to interact with each other. You can do that. I'm not quite sure. I can't quite get my head around what that means. So you might want to just play with that and find out what that means. And display number of attendees in the room. Okay, so you can obviously see that there's a little icon at the top here. Now, if you're going to be doing this to hundreds of thousands of people and you don't want people to see that there's lots of people, or maybe there's only like 2 or 3 people turn up for your event and you don't want people to see that, obviously you can switch that off. It just depends on your own preference, really. And you can actually have this hand here where people can actually raise a hand to speak inside the live event as well. Okay. Now I'm going to show you this in just a moment, because what we're going to do is we're going to turn our video on. So we've got our video here, and we're going to turn our audio on so that we're ready to go. And we may be doing a screen share. In fact, most cases I generally do. So I'm going to choose a Chrome tab and actually choose my course. So you can see it's actually going to it's going to show us what we're going to be streaming live here. So we can go back to here now and we can actually see our icon. This is kind of our headshot. And we can actually decide where we want to put it. So we can put it, I usually put it in the top right, but you can have it top left, basically any corner, and you can make it bigger or smaller depending on what you want to do. So you might want it medium size, top right. That's pretty cool, but you might want to make it a bit smaller so that they can see the slides, that sort of thing. And that's it. And then we've got everything ready to go, and we are ready to start. Now, before we do that, I just wanted to show you the moderation room, the control panel, so you can see. Now, most of the features you can actually get inside the live room. So you can see inside of here, you can actually see that they've got all access to all of the materials for the presentation. They can see the chat, and they can see like if people have raised their hand or they want to speak, anything like that here. Okay, you don't actually need to come in here at all. You can actually do it all within here, right? Because you can see what's going on. But, you might want to have that open. You might have a separate moderator. So that's pretty cool. So I'm going to close that for now. Now, the last thing I want to talk you through is this amazing panic button. Now, if in the middle of this presentation, something drastically goes wrong and you want to move everyone over to a new room, it's going to basically reboot the room for everybody. So if the room has frozen, has become unresponsive, or you have simply lost connection, you may reboot it now. All your presenters and attendees will be instantly redirected to a fresh new room and the live broadcast will continue. How cool is that? I don't know any other webinar that has this feature. This is amazing. And it may just be any reason why you need to do this. So something goes drastically wrong, you press this, everybody gets moved over, you just carry on with your presentation. Absolutely love that as a new feature. And that is pretty much it. And then when you're good to go, you just press this go live button and you will go live. And then once you've been live, I'm actually going to press go live. Okay, start the event. And we are now live. It says down in the bottom here, we're now live. And when you want to end the call, you would just press the same thing, right? And obviously, if anything goes wrong, you press the panic button. And then we may be now at the point where we're ready to broadcast our offer. So you can publish that. So that's now been published. People now know about the offer and that's available. You can actually see the chat as it's coming in, okay? And you can actually send something to anybody that you want, okay? So you can actually see, you know, you can write a sticky message. So, hi everyone, just getting a drink. You know, something like that. I've spelled that wrong, but it doesn't matter. And then that's going to come up inside the event, and it's going to be sticky. So it's going to be up here, and everybody's going to be able to see this. And then you can have, whether you decide to send to admin or everyone in the room. That's another good feature. So I absolutely love WebinarJam. I mean, you know, this is really good system, and now the fact they've made it super robust, it's really good. So what we're going to do is we're going to end this event, okay? And while I show you the course, we'll come back in here in a moment, and this will be rendered, and we'll be able to take this video file and we'll be able to do what we want with it. In fact, in the next video, I'm going to show you how to use EverWebinar and how you can actually use this event inside of EverWebinar or your own video. But what we're going to do now is I'm going to talk you through, if you decide to bite the bullet and get WebinarJam today, you'll see the button on this page, you'll see it down below here, and you will actually get my groundbreaking 24-hour ranking system. Now this is this kind of eats most 997 courses for breakfast, because this is going to show you how to put all of your products and services on the front page of Google and YouTube without spending a single penny on ads. And if you actually go through this course, this is going to make your offers successful. So you see, we've got 3 modules here. We've also got like loads of extra training I've been adding in over the last few weeks. You can use it for anything where you want to drive traffic or just put yourself in front of your audience, because everything is being searched for on Google and YouTube. So that is my actually 100% free lifetime access, my free bonus. So one last thing before we go, I'm actually going to get the replay. Okay, so you'll actually see, if we choose the event, download replay video. So we can actually now download this replay, and you can see we can use this video for whatever we want. This is now ready. So I'll just open this and we can have a quick look. Here it is. You can see the webcam icon. We are now live. It says down the bottom here, we're now live. And there it is. So that's the actual video. Now we can use that inside of our own landing pages if we want to give the replay inside our own landing pages. We can obviously keep the recording for our audience, put it inside our courses and things like that. We can actually use it in EverWebinar, but to use it in EverWebinar, we don't even need to upload it. We can actually just switch it over, which I'm going to show you that in the next video. So you'll see the button on this page to go and purchase WebinarJam, and you will actually get access to my groundbreaking 24-hour ranking system. This is lifetime access. This is going to save you $997, and this is going to allow you to generate all the traffic you need to all your webinars without spending a single penny. Most people are spending a fortune on Facebook, and it's not working anymore. With this system, you can actually spend nothing and put your products and services in front of buyers every single day. So yeah, you'll see the button on this page or in the description. Go there and grab this WebinarJam now, and you won't be disappointed. I'll see you in the next video where we're going to talk through how to use EverWebinar. So I'll see you then.